Aubrey. How are you?
Hi, Michelle. I am great. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Guys, Lindsay will be back next week. But Aubrey and I are excited to record together today. So Aubrey, what is the funniest thing you've seen or you've heard recently? Is it a comedian, maybe a funny story?
Oh, we discovered something called Don't Tell Comedy. It's all over the United States now. I guess you can find it in most cities
Mhm.
where it's sort of like the secret underground stand-up comedy and you never know where it's going to be. It's in just like random venues. It might be in a clothing store or a gym and they just throw up chairs and
Mm-hmm.
have like great comedians. So it's fun that it's kind of underground and the comedians are always really great. So we have been going to these Don't Tell comedy shows. It's pretty fun.
Cool. That's awesome. So yeah, I one comedian that I really love is Jim Gaffigan.
He's
I
so
think
funny.
he is hilarious. I recently was listening to him and he was just cracking me up, like laugh out loud funny. So today we are going to talk about how to describe things that are funny. So this is going to be a fun, lighthearted episode. We've talked about how I always say I feel funny. With that's kind of my catchphrase apparently. Aubrey, I always say I feel funny instead of I feel strange, right?
Yes, that's
Um
funny because it's interesting that doesn't have anything to do with actually
being
being like
funny.
laughing funny. That's more like I feel strange. I feel weird about this.
Right, right. So we've kind of touched on this topic a little bit before in the past, but a while ago, and we want to revisit it today because it's such a huge connection topic. So we want to make sure that we're giving this all the attention that it deserves. So for example, as far as connection goes, I have some new neighbors, and we recently discovered that a whole group of us are Seinfeld fans. We think Seinfeld is so funny, and this connected us already because then we were saying references from the show and making jokes. So this is just huge because people love to laugh, right, Aubrey?
Yes, absolutely. This happened to me recently. We discovered that some friends of ours are also big fans of the show Arrested Development. I don't
Uh-huh.
know if you watched that,
Uh-huh.
Michelle, but
I
so we were
have.
all quoting it and laughing about past
Right.
episodes. When you find you have this in common, it is such a huge way to connect.
Yeah, so this is going to be really huge for connection here today. So, we're going to talk about how you can talk about a show or a stand-up comedian. So, we're going to talk about different vocabulary we can use all dealing with humor. So, the first one is I actually said this. I was talking about Jim Gaffigan, laugh out loud funny, or just laugh out loud, right? So you could say
Yeah.
I was laughing out loud, but you can describe someone or something as being laugh out loud funny. So I could say, I think Jim Gaffigan is laugh out loud funny. Um,
Yes. I used this
so yeah.
recently. I was describing, there's a show on HBO called Righteous Gemstones, and
Wait,
I
you watch
laugh
that?
out loud. I love it so
Oh my
much.
God, we have to talk. Okay, I'll talk to you later about it.
This
See?
is going to be that connection moment for us.
I
We've
haven't met
discovered we both
anybody else who
love
watches it,
Righteous Gemstones.
and we need to talk.
Really? I'm
Oh,
obsessed and I laugh out loud so
same.
often that I miss a lot of lines. So I have to watch the episodes twice
Oh my
because I
God.
was laughing over
All
so
right.
many of the lines.
I'm so excited. Yeah, guys, when you
So
find
funny.
something funny, when you find something you really enjoy, it's so exciting to talk to somebody about it.
Yes,
Um,
right. This is such a so now Michelle and I are going to of course
have
connect about
yes,
some
I'm
of the
gonna have to
funny
call you
lines and
later.
the writing and the characters, right?
Yes.
Because we have this in common that we both love
Yes.
this
Oh
show
my
and it
gosh.
is laugh out loud
It
funny.
is definitely laugh out loud funny. Also extremely dirty. So
It is
it's
very
not for
inappropriate.
kids.
Not for
Very.
children and maybe not for other sensibilities, right? I don't mind. I don't mind some
Yes.
inappropriate television.
Oh my, okay, I'm so excited. Anyway, so there we go. We already connected. Another word is witty, right? That you can describe someone or something as witty. Witty is kind of like smart, almost like clever, right?
Yes, exactly. This is the highest compliment for someone to call me witty because I do, I'll have some like funny little
Right.
one-liners or like make little jokes. And if someone's like,
Uh-huh.
"You're really witty," I'm like, "Thank
Uh-huh.
you."
Yeah, so you could say my friend is so witty. He doesn't seem like he's making a joke, but everyone laughs anyway.
Yeah, so it's not like dad jokes. They're not puns, right? It's
No.
more like something clever if
Right.
you're witty. Yeah, I love
Right.
and then we also use the noun wit. Someone has
Right.
wit, right? A dry
Yes.
wit is often those or dry humor. That's our next phrase here. There are a lot
Mhm.
of television shows that are very dry humor, especially British television is known to have
Mhm.
dry humor.
Yeah, so you could say something like some Brits are known for their dry sense of humor. I mean, this makes me think of people like Hugh Grant and Colin Firth, where they just it's
Yes,
not
Ricky Gervais is it's very
oh,
dry
oh, I
humor.
love Ricky Gervais. He's
I do too. He's
hilarious.
so funny, but it is
Um,
pretty dry, right? Sometimes it takes you a second to get it. It's not the kind of jokes that you would like tell to a kid, or
right.
often it's not very obvious, right?
It's kind of also, I think of shows like The Office, where, they just it's a lot of the timing. It's like the awkward timing, and so it's very dry, and it's not for everybody. Dry humor. Some people love it. Some
Right.
people are like, I don't know, they're not really
Yeah, I
into
think
it.
Arrested Development is a like poster child of dry humor, right? A lot of you're not going to laugh out loud, but you
Yeah,
might chuckle. There's going to be
yeah,
like some clever lines that'll make you chuckle.
right, right. Aubrey, who is the funniest person you know?
I think my neighbor, I have a neighbor who his parents are from Mexico, but he was born and raised in the States in a border town. And everything he says is just so funny. A lot of
Oh,
dry humor, a lot of inappropriate humor, to be honest. But I am guaranteed to just be laughing whenever I'm
aw.
hanging out with him. What about you? Who's the funniest person you know?
Ooh,
Me, right?
yes, you. It's
Of
you.
course. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who is the funniest person I know? I should have thought of that when I asked you the question.
Well, and
I
sometimes it's hard to think because you probably know a lot of people that
I
are
know a lot
funny,
of
and that's
funny
not something we
people.
compare very often, right? We're like, all of these people I know are funny. Who's the funniest? I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. Well, there's funny combos of people. So like my
Yes.
husband and his friend, they're really funny together. So I would say they're pretty funny just when, but I can't think of like the funniest person I know right this
That's
second.
a good point that a lot of combos are funny, both on like TV and movies. Sometimes couples are more
It's the
funny as a
team.
combo, right? Or
Yeah.
like buddy comedy movies, like
Right.
Will
Yeah.
Ferrell
Oh,
and Colin. It's Will Ferrell and Colin Farrell? No, Mark Wahlberg. Will Ferrell
uh-huh.
and Mark Wahlberg are such a funny comedy pair in a
Uh-huh.
lot of movies that they've been in.
Uh-huh.
Daddy's Home, those are so funny, and they're funny by themselves, but as a pair,
Steve
hilarious.
Martin and Martin Short. Yeah, there are all these
Absolutely.
comedy teams, right?
Yeah, and
So,
it's the same thing in real life, right? A couple or two friends might be especially funny because they sort of build off of each other,
yeah.
play off of each other and what they say.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Aubrey, what is the next word that deals with comedy?
Okay, offbeat. This is a really interesting adjective to describe a type of comedy. It sort of means like unexpected, a little bit different than the average joke you might hear.
So you could say something like, I like offbeat comedians, but my family likes pretty basic humor, so we don't agree on comedy too much.
Yeah, that's always interesting. If you like dry humor or offbeat humor, and then most of the people you know like just, slapstick is another type of comedy, these kind of more
Slapstick.
obvious jokes, dad jokes,
Yeah.
puns, then
Yeah.
you might not be able to really connect about the types of comedians or the types of TV shows you find funny.
Exactly. So, but and like we were talking about the righteous gemstones, this show, like we could use the word blue. Aubrey, you ever hear that word to talk about
No, I
comedy?
haven't used blue means like inappropriate humor. I've
Yeah,
never
it's
heard
like
that.
dirty or inappropriate. Could be
Interesting.
sexual jokes, things like that. So
Okay.
you
I
could
like
say
blue humor then. I've never heard it
you do.
called that, but I like inappropriate humor. It makes me laugh. I mean, it's interesting because there's always a line. We say there's like a line that you cross. And before
Hmm.
the line, it's just funny. And then sometimes there's a line. I'm like, oh, they went too far
Yeah.
on
Oh,
either like
that
if
happens
it's
a lot. And that's the
blasphemous or
comedian's
inappropriate.
job, right?
Totally.
But this could get into we could do a whole other episode on, cancel culture and how then sometimes
Hmm.
comedians can get into trouble because
If they
of
cross the
this.
line.
Yeah, where they cross the line and they don't know really where the line is and they're maybe, so It's
Interesting.
interesting. But yeah, for example, you could say he was funny at first, but then his jokes got a little too blue for my taste.
I wonder if
Uh,
this is sort of a like a trendy slang on the East Coast that hasn't reached the West Coast yet. I feel like that happens sometimes. So I'm curious now if I'm going to start hearing comedy referred to as blue.
yeah,
Interesting.
maybe. So I think that we are going to go into our role play now, to show how this could fit together. Are you ready, Aubrey?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so here we just went to a stand-up show and we are talking about it. Okay.
All right.
Wow, that was so funny. I loved the opener.
He was a little blue. I don't really like that humor.
Yeah, he was offbeat, but his delivery was excellent.
I thought the second guy was laugh out loud funny.
Yeah, I loved him. He had such a witty way of telling jokes.
Yes, a lot of dry humor.
Definitely. Okay.
So fun. Yeah. So we used a lot of this good vocab here. The one I wasn't familiar with, I said he was a little blue, which would mean a little inappropriate. And this will happen. A lot of people don't like the humor that others would call, that you might be called inappropriate,
Mhm.
whereas others, that's what they think is really funny.
Right, right, exactly. So let's go through this. So I said it was really funny, and you said, he was a little blue.
That inappropriate. And then you
Hmm.
said, yeah, he was offbeat, but his delivery was excellent. So you're saying, like, yeah, it's different than the average comedian for sure, but like you loved it. The delivery is often that's like how the jokes are told, sometimes the physical humor,
Comic
the comic timing,
timing,
that's
facial
everything.
expressions. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then you said, I thought the second guy was laugh out loud funny. So just how it sounds. Who made you
Yeah,
laugh
we
out
use
loud?
another similar expression, side splitting. Have you heard
Side
this? Like say like
splitting.
that is side splitting, which is the same as laugh out loud funny. That means
Yeah.
you're actually laughing.
Yes, exactly.
And then I said, or you said he had such a witty way of telling jokes, right?
So
So he had good wit.
smart,
He was very witty.
clever. Yeah. And then
Yes.
you said, yes, a lot of dry humor, right? So not that slapstick obvious stuff, but just kind of quieter, toned down, but very funny.
Right. Sometimes you have to think about it a little bit. And then, oh, I
Hmm.
get it. There's the double meaning there, some double entendre.
Yes. So guys, this is again huge for connection. I cannot stress this enough because I think laughter is such a wonderful thing and people just love to laugh, and so when you can connect with someone over a laughter, I think it really bonds you very quickly to that person. So when I'm watching something funny, I would say it's kind of my happy place, which reminds me, guys, check out All Ears English. This episode we did was called Find Your Happy Place in this episode, and we talked all about the expression happy place, so go and listen to that.
Nice. That's similar for me. That's my happy place. I love comedies. But even if you have friends that they don't listen to comedy podcasts or that's not the TV shows they usually go in for, they still have a type of humor, right? There will be
Yeah.
certain jokes or certain types of humor that they enjoy. So today we're sharing phrases for all of these different types of humor. Yeah, this you can connect with someone even if you have sort of different tastes when it comes to humor.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, very good point, Aubrey. And yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode. Give these a try, and yeah, let us know who you think is funny. So we will talk to you guys on the next episode.
Awesome. See you next time.
All right,
Bye.
bye.